Hello, my name is Guy. Popes are replaced and presidents succeed one another, and nothing changes. We resume business as usual, where big fish eat small fish. Much has been said and discussed and analyzed with the recent American elections. Reactions are very strong. The white sheep are unhappy with the results. White sheep like status quo, and they dislike the results of the elections, whereas black sheep are happy with the results of the elections. They oppose the New World Order, they oppose the actual system, the present system, and they are happy with the results. In fact, results depend, the results of an election are the mere reflection of our level of consciousness and not the other way around. They teach us where we are. And we can notice that with this election, we went from white sheep to black sheep in terms of consciousness. So this is a progress. So instead of seeing it in terms of winner or loser, let's see it in terms of a consciousness. And then we all won. Let's not remember, though, that we're talking about a progression in consciousness, but not a transformation of consciousness. We're still dealing with sheep, and sheep are fearful. And we are all afraid of our future. What is going to happen to us? Well, where does fear come from? There's only one cause to fear. It's the separation of authority and obedience. And this is the problem we're dealing with. We never go to the root of the problem, which is separation of authority and obedience. Let's address it. Human being is made up of two elements, a creative spirit and a created matter. The creative spirit being the reality, and the created matter being the illusion. When we say individuality, duality means there are two elements we just mentioned, but means they are indivisible. That means there are two, but there's only one. How can we make two? How can we make one with two, out of two? Well, either I eliminate one and I'm left with one, or I become conscious that both are the same. And this is the situation we're in. We are the spirit, the creative spirit, we're both the creative spirit and the created matter. And matter is a mere reflection of our level of consciousness of the spirit, the creative spirit that we are. If we have forgotten who we are, we live in the world of illusion, which is a world of fear. It's a bath of fear, where we have the three players, a sheep, a fearful sheep, a bad wolf, and a good shepherd. And what does the sheep want in this world of illusion? The sheep wants a good shepherd. This is what the elections are for, to find a good shepherd to live in a better world. And this is hell on earth, but we want a better hell on earth, like a good system of air conditioning. If we, because we are unconscious of who we are, if we are conscious when we transform and become conscious of who we are, then we live in a bath of love. There is no more separation. It is union and fusion between authority and obedience. They are one. So there is no more war. There's peace. Here is peace, fusion, and we live in paradise on earth. How do we go from this hell on earth to paradise on earth? Well, the cornerstone of this system is the sheep. If there's no more sheep, there's no more wolf and no more shepherd. So the sheep has to change. The sheep has to transform into he really is, and what it really is a wingmare, to find its real identity and behave as such. This is the first thing that has to happen. When this happens, when the sheep dies, well, the shepherd dies too. Should it be spiritual, like religions, or should it be political, like a government? They all disappear. And we experience paradise on earth. This process is progressive. The first step is to unify, make the union of spirit and matter, get them together. So remember who we are and behave as such makes the union, progressive union between spirit and matter. And down the road, we get to a total fusion of both of them, which is the end result. This is personal Krishna's path to Idessa, Idessa being the new species. Who is personal Krishna? Personal Krishna is a consciousness. It is the consciousness of every person who remembers who she is, the supreme being called Idessa. She remembers who she is and she behaves as such in her daily life. The first step to this transformation of consciousness is the decision, and the decision is a transfer of power from the false external authorities to the inner real self authority. Be careful, that doesn't mean that I will do what I want, when I want, the way I want. No, not at all. It means letting go of the control of the mind, and giving it to the will of the soul, to the sovereign soul. It is not easy because it means that I have no more control over what's going to happen to me. And that requires a lot of courage. Personal Krishna's action is coherent with her consciousness. She will not, for instance, if we talk about the financial system, personal Krishna will not fight the system. She will not ask the government to change it or make rules or laws. But she will stop behaving the way she did in the past and stop collaborating with it. So she will stop giving her money away, for instance, to the government, to the banks, to the insurance companies, to the investment companies, and to multinationals. This is the way she behaves. Personocratia walks her talk. What does the word sovereignty mean? The word sovereignty means the supreme authority. Authority where there's no other authority above it. It cannot be lost. It cannot be changed. And it cannot be taken away. Let's have a look at this chart, where we have a whole scale of different levels of sovereignty. Starting with at the bottom, we have the individual. At the very top, we have God, whoever that is, God, the God of the world of illusion we're in, with separation between authority and obedience. This God can be God, Allah, Yahweh, it's all alike. The more separation between authority and obedience, the more slavery. And the less separation, the more liberty. Nowadays, these days, we talk about countries losing their sovereignty. Yes, they are losing their sovereignty to the profit of the continent. And the continent will lose its sovereignty to the profit of the New World Order, to the world government. Other people say, well, we should bring our sovereignty down closer to the individual. And they propose, for instance, the sovereignty of a province or a state. Yes, like we had in Quebec several years ago, the proposal of Quebec sovereignty, a sovereign Quebec. Some people propose to have it at the level of the region. Some other people at the city, village, community. Some other people talk about a sovereign family. But let's realize that all those levels are still in the world of separation between authority and obedience. How can we make the union between both? We can only make the union between both when we bring this false God down into the individual, where we have the union of authority and obedience. And who is this God inside what we call God? And that we call Idessa when it is inside. Who is that? That is the sovereign soul within the individual. And then the individual, we can conclude that the individual is sovereign, and the individual cannot lose its sovereignty unless it consents to give it away. And this is what elections are made for. We live in a period of time favorable to our transformation of consciousness. I'm not talking about improvement. I'm not talking about making a better caterpillar. I'm talking about the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, a new species. This is where we're heading. Who's going to achieve this transformation? Well, not the religions and not the politics. None of them. It's only transformed individuals who will achieve it. In the meantime, let's revise our attitude towards the New World Order elite. For instance, the first thing I can see is that we spend a lot of time addressing their program, understanding it, talking about it. What is it going to be? What are they going to do? During that time, we do not take charge of our own program of becoming who we really are, our real identity. So let's go back to ourselves. Let's do it. Number two, let's not forget that New World Order, the New World Order is an evolutionary necessity. We need them to make hell on earth so unbearable, so suffocating, that we will be ready to jump out of it at any cost. If we didn't do that, if they weren't there, we didn't have them, we would remain in this world of illusion, well, a comfortable hell on earth, comfortable slavery. And we would, with air conditioning, and we would never experiment and discover paradise on earth, our real home. And the third aspect of this attitude, in our attitude, is prosecute them. We always talk, I hear often about prosecuting the elite of the New World Order, bringing them to jail, put them in jail for the rest of their lives. Well, hatred and vengeance belong to this old world. We don't need that anymore. There's no right nor wrong. Everything is perfect. And maybe we could see them as collaborators, instead of enemies, see them as collaborators to our transformation of consciousness. We accuse them of high treason. How about our own high treason when we give our sovereign power, we give it away? In conclusion, the first question we asked was, what's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is what we will create. We are creators, creatrix of our world and of our society. Our future belongs to us. So let's contact our sovereign soul, Idessa the First. Let's contact her and give her the governance over our lives. And we will find love, peace, and liberty.